Hey y'all, welcome back to AP with OT. I just wanted to say thank you for watching, if you are, first of all, because I feel like I got a pretty positive response with this, and so I'm just excited to be able to share my knowledge with you, beat my own imposter syndrome with feeling like I'm not qualified enough to talk about anything, and hopefully give you some guidance or just a good laugh if you need that too. Today we're going to talk about the different tools and products that are available for you to study for the NBCOT. I'm sure there's a more exhaustive list somewhere, but I have done a little bit more research on the tools that I have used through the past year or so to study. I want to touch on them a little bit before I give too much of an opinion on how they helped me, or if they didn't help me, or if I felt like whatever. And I will give you a brief overview so you can kind of get an idea of maybe what you're looking for or what you would like to use. Sorry, there's dust all over my laptop and it's driving me crazy. Anyway, so first we're going to talk about Therapy Ed. I'm sure a lot of people have heard about this book. I actually have the 8th edition. They have the 9th edition out now. Looks like this. They are $90 brand new. They come with an online exam that has 3 full tests with it. They also have some other, resources that kind of come with the online platform. This one, like I said, is older by 1 edition, but it's still just as effective. The back content is the questions, rationales, answers, things like that. The quiz, or to the exams you would take online. So there's exam A, B, C, and then the rationales for each one. And then the chapters are just like a textbook, but a shortened, condensed version of each kind of topic you would want to go over. If anybody wants to buy the 8th edition, let me know. You can have this one. I don't have the online access anymore, but the book is right here. So pay for shipping, hit me up. Shameless plug. The next one is Aota exam prep. So they call these the Aot Pdfs most of the time. At least that's what I heard. I decided when I got this one to print them and get them bound into a book. This is bulleted points of every topic you could possibly think of. It is $149 for an Aota member. If you're not a member, it is $209. I don't know if these are updated regularly or whatever, but I do know that the online, what's it called? Program, I guess, that you get when you get the PDFs now has a self-assessment tool and different things, practice questions. So they've kind of updated the dashboard of those from when we had them. So the PDFs look a little bit different. I also found out that I believe it times out after a year of having it, because when I studied my 3rd time, I had to call them and ask, and they said, yeah, it only lasts for 365 days. After that, you kind of have to either repay or they can extend it for you, I think a month or 3 months, depending on how long you need to study. So keep that in mind if you're buying it early to prep for an exam soon, or if you happen to not pass. I'm sorry, friend. That's my boat too. Keep that in mind when you're looking at moving forward with your resources. The next one, we will talk about the NBCOT website directly. I tried really hard to find the pricing of the study pack, but it just will not let me view it, which is really annoying. But they have the NBCOT exam study pack for both OTR and COTA. I do not remember how much they are, but you get practice tests, pre-tests, mini questions, little games, flashcards, 1 full practice exam, and it's all the same formatting that you have day of. So obviously, because it's from NBCOT and that is the exam you'd be taking, it is very similar and structured, well, the same. So yay. We'll go Past the OT next. So Past the OT is another program that I used. This one looks a lot different now. I went back and checked their website because it's been a while since I have had to look at it. Because I used this to study before my 2nd attempt at the test. And they have updated it a lot, which I think is helpful for people moving forward to use this program and platform. because now they have a whole bunch of different options. When I first took it, I was kind of trying to be cheap, so I took the crash course, which is like the 30 days, month long. I was like, I don't need that much more time. I've studied for this before. I don't really need any of the tutoring sessions or anything. And at that time, it did not come with the crash course. So, excuse the giant tow truck that just drove outside. I sit by my window because of the light, and yikes, that was loud. So yeah, the crash course did not include study, like extra streamable tutoring session type content that I know of when I first took it. So that's really cool that they've updated that, and it's still the cheaper package. But they have packages all the way up from $99 all the way up to the silver. Yeah, silver is the highest, it looks like, $365. And then you get 120 days worth of access for that. Goes down, bronze is $199. First time, OT first time kind of pack for 60 days of studying is $135. And then the crash course, which is a month-long access, for $99. So they've got private tutoring lessons that are included in some of the higher packages, group tutoring in the lower packages, and they look like they've just added a lot more content, which is really cool. So I personally just got one that was like self-paced for the month when I signed up for it the first time. And so it was a lot of reading, rewriting notes, modules, going through those. There wasn't practice questions or anything along those lines. So that is what it is. The last one I wanted to talk about today is the missing piece OT. This is the one I took the time before I passed. So right before my third attempt, this is part of what I used to study. This one has also gotten revamped since just in the last couple months since I've, taken my test and passed. And the site looks really good and really exciting, which is cool. So they have personal path foundations for about $39, just right challenge courses for $99. They have an optimal kind of plan for $159. And that one is the one that seems the most close to what I did. And the one that they used to open up, they would open it up monthly, and it would be, you check the month of the calendar, you make sure that the next month that's coming to sign up, you could fit the days that the video calls were going to be on the group topics, and then there was video calls for question kind of how to answer stuff on the NBCOT, or like strategies to help you test kind of thing. And you'd check the calendar, you'd make sure, and then on the 28th day of the month, they opened it and you could sign up, and then there was limited capacity. So that's what I did. Now it looks like they've restructured it to where there are certain topics on certain nights, and they open up these group sessions, and you can kind of enroll anytime. I think that's what it looks like. Don't quote me on that. You'd have to look into it a little bit more if that's something you're interested in. But I will say, Kim is one of the tutors and the person who's kind of in charge of this whole website. She's amazingly kind, and she believes in all of her students. She actually did not pass her first time either, and so that's kind of what pushed her to help other people do better on the test the first time, second time, however many times they have to take it. And she does a very good job of pushing you and making you get out of your own head. So I really appreciated that. That was the only kind of content, though, I did from a tutoring standpoint where I had other people in video calls with me. So I will say that much on that. Some of the other, let me move this and get this. This is all my notes from all the different things that I have. I've done so much as drawing things if you need, something to that effect, to writing down every single note that came out of the modules from past the OT, and I kept them all throughout my different processes. But this is where it's going to switch more from factual of what they offer to purely just my own opinion. This is my sweet grandpa in a picture. How cute. Me and him when I was 4. But this is, so my personal favorite was the missing piece OT. But that is also because I took the extra step and spent a little more money that time, considering it was my third time taking the exam. And I was like, look, if I need to spend a little bit of extra money to get some more support on this, then that's what we're going to have to do. And so my husband and I talked about that, and we ended up getting that month-long course for me with the group interaction and all of that. And it was really, really good. if you know that you don't learn very well by reading books over and over again or studying in a generic sense like that, then maybe that'd be something that you should just invest the extra money in and get some kind of private tutoring group lesson type bundle, if you will. It's not right or wrong. It's not good or bad. It worked really well for me. I'm a visual person. I also like talking as an interaction with people. And so getting to talk to somebody who'd been there and had stories and could like answer questions live, that was really helpful for me. Past the OT, I enjoyed a lot of the modules, but for me at the time when I took it, I didn't have all the other stuff added into that package. So it wasn't quite as effective, I don't think, for me and what I needed, because it was very self-paced and me having to go back and learning. And at that point, my mental state for the test was very, I really don't want to study anymore. I'm really pissed I didn't pass the first time. And so it was kind of just trudging through it rather than like trying to grow. And while I did take steps to do things differently that time, it was still not as helpful for me as it could have been probably. But once again, everything happens for a reason, and it's kind of, it is what it is, and it's over now. I've had tons of friends that only use the PDFs and they've passed the first time. Most of my friends passed the first time. I really only know of one or two that maybe didn't. The therapy ed book, I would say that it is a little bit tougher question-wise, but the rationales are really good. So they do a really good job of explaining to you rationales, why it is that way, and then also supporting that in the textbook. So if you need to go back and look at that one spot, it'll kind of tell you or reference that. Let's see what else. The Aot Pdfs, like I said, people have passed just using those. Personally, it was kind of the same thing. It was more self-paced, self-driven. The questions online I found way more helpful personally. And I would kind of reference this if I needed help. So some people really like just reading through and taking notes and highlighting, or do that. Do what works for you. And so that's kind of the whole point of this, is to show you what there is out there, at least that I am more familiar with. I'm sure there's tons more great resources. The other thing I will tell you, there's OT Rex on YouTube, OT Miri on YouTube, and there's podcasts. Personally, one of my favorites was the OT Exam Prepper podcast with Miles. He will give you some awesome tools, and what are they called? Like tools to remember things. I'm blanking on the word, not acronym, but you know. And so he does things like, I actually have his printouts because they're free on his website. So he does podcasts for each of them, but then he'll give you a printout to kind of look and review. So one of my favorites, and I'm not going to tell you too much about it because you're going to have to go check it out, because that's how we, people who share content, get people to come look at it. He has the models and modules and stuff all, mnemonic, that's the word I'm trying to think of. So this one specifically is Lord of the Rings, and so you can go print out the thing and it tells you about the models. So like PEO, MOHO, EHP, all the good stuff. So if you want to go check out just a way to do visual learning and mnemonics, Miles is awesome, and the OT Exam Prepper podcast is awesome. They're really easy to pop on when you're in the car, or sit at your table and study the mnemonics with the sheet in front of you. It works both ways. So those are just some things I did. We'll talk more about how I prepared like more mentally or structured my studying in a later episode. I didn't want to get too much into that today. Today I just wanted to give you an idea of what was out there, how they're using their content, what kind of programs or study options they offer, and then kind of like pricing if I could find it. I figured that's helpful to throw in there because money is a legit resource. I mean, if you don't have $300 to spend on some fancy exam test, or if you don't need it, don't feel like you need it to pass. Like I said, I know plenty of people who passed just by reading through all the stuff they know, and they did great. I just happen to need some more support, and so I hope this is helpful for people who are looking for that or just curious about what's out there. Until next time, see you guys later.